Hello, Mr. Skullsnake here. Mr. L. Cobra Skullsnake. Either one's fine. You can call me by Cobra or call me the Skullsnake. Whatever one you want. Whatever one you think is better. Anyway, today I'm bringing back an old series that I had on my channel. I made a video 2 years ago that was how to make weapons in Slade. And today, even though the series is probably going to be published probably one, two, or maybe a few days after I record this, but let's ignore that. I'm going to bring this series back. What is the whole premise of this series? It is to teach you how to mod and stuff into Slade for 8-bit deathmatch. So, we're not going to cover maps because there's a lot of guides out there. This is just for your weapons, props, and all your other shit. But yeah, so today we're going to start with the basics of how does a weapon work and function and all that, and what does this stuff mean? Well, let's get on to it. So, if you want to go and make your own mod, it's pretty easy. You just press create new archive, create yourself a new archive, save as, and whatever you want to put it as, and note, put it as a PK3. Remember that, PK3. You're going to put this, because you put this whatever name you want. Okay, so we have our PK3 file named Banuka files. You guys call it whatever you want. But actually, I probably should search up if the phrase I said actually exists as like a file. Whatever. Anyway, so our folder looks like this. This is our PK3 at the moment. It's jack shit. It got nothing. But then we have something like, okay, this is what it should look like. But no, this is just MM8BDM Deathmatch V6B, and I'm just going to tell you this as a very quick thing. Actually, a really helpful thing as well. It's easy as a thing. Just open up your MM8BDM Deathmatch V6B, and note this guide is going to be for V6B, not V6A, V5D, or all the previous versions. This is for V6B, the most up-to-date ones. And in the future, if there's a V6C or a V7, this guide may be outdated, but well. But yeah, first we want to go and make ourselves things. So get an ACS file, ACS under source. Actually, wait, this is wrong. That's not it. Okay. Actors, sprites, and okay, these are basically easy essentials. Because, like, okay, here it's like, oh, they're non-capitals. I put them in capitals, you can put them in non-capitals, whatever you want. I just do them like this. Okay. So, you want to start off with something? Alright. But first of all, let's go and get to our decorate.txt. This thing is really essential, because without this, nothing works. This is kind of what it looks like on the inside of it. It's just all of this stuff. There's a shit ton of it in there. So yes, we need one of these. So you can either, one, copy paste the decorate file and then just drop it here and then basically remove everything. And well, you have your own decorate file, but the thing is, we have nothing that is added to this. This is just an empty file. So, and yes, Yes, if you're asking to yourself, oh Cobra, why don't you just get on to making the weapons already? I'm just teaching you some of the really important stuff that you need to start off with. But let's jump into the weapons, because that's what we need to talk about today. So, I'd say a great way to start off the template thing would be go to 8-bit Deathmatch v6b, go to inventory, go to Buster, and then go to Mega Buster. The thing is, there's a bunch of shit that you may, because to a bunch of people you might go like, what is all this colors and shit? And I'm just saying, this is not much at all. It's not that bad, really. You just copy paste this, go into our own actors, and we just rename it to whatever we want. This just makes coding it a lot easier. But I'll explain all this stuff. So I've changed this weapon to name to Banuka, but still we're gonna go and do a few things. Alright, so because we don't really need this, because I'm not really implementing, because so I usually make weapons a lot different, but if I were, because I'd have to go and explain through all this stuff. So this here, actor, it's really important. We've got this here, and the thing is, if you open up with one of these, you must close with one of these. Because the way that it's structured is that you've got the first one, all this green text, then the states, then a second open, then you get to this first close, and then a second close. That is an entire actor's thing. But yeah, I'm going to change the name from Mega Buster to something else. We've got a thing called Dummy Weapon. This is a testing one, even though it's just a recolored. It's just a renamed Mega Buster, but really, hang with me here. So, the actor is basically the entire thing. This is the name. And then you might go and say, oh, why is there this and then this? Okay, so with 8-bit Deathmatch weapons, if you're trying to make it like compatible with normal classes and all that, you may as well want to go actor, name, this symbol, and then this weapon, and this. So the thing is, this weapon inherits all the properties of, hold on, let me just get it, base Deathmatch weapon. Alright, so thing is, I don't really use this script thing named weapon.ammo use. I don't use it, but this is the case we're using the copy web, but I put 2 forward slashes here just to turn into a comment. Weapon.ammo give. This one is pretty important because some weapons may trigger a underscore jump if no ammo. So this script here, this is like an actor thing. I know it seems like I'm jumping from like the top stuff to this stuff, but without ammo, and if one of these things come along, you will immediately jump to a no ammo state and you'll be back. Like, you wouldn't even fire a shot, so it's a jump state. Still, ammo give, really important. Weapon.slot number, this is respective to whatever key numbers you have for 8-bit Deathmatch. Inventory.pickup message, basically it's whatever pickup message you have. You usually will not see this unless you have it as like a 8-bit Deathmatch weapon that you have to go and find. Obituary, this is usually what, because there's like a whole tab for obituaries and that, and we'll talk about those later. It's pretty much what happens when you kill someone with a weapon. Tag, this is the name, the weapon. So usually when you swap to it, there'll be a name it will have, such as Trusty Mega Buster, the Mega Buster will show at the bottom of the screen. We'll give this one as a tag. I know it seems a little silly, but it's a test weapon. You can pretty much put whatever you want as it, even if it's a bunch of racist slurs, but Please don't do that. Anyway, weapon.ammo type, pretty much it'd say, this is the ammo it uses. Some weapons can fire with ammo, some weapons can fire without ammo. We're just going to take an example of a weapon that fires with ammo. Actually, this one fires without using a single thing of ammo. Okay. Inventory icon, this is pretty much just the icon that shows on the HUD. Drop item, this is what happens if you drop something in it. Okay, we've gone past the... Alright, let's get on to this. So, states. This is where the more interesting stuff happens. So, the thing is, the colors are really important to remember. But yeah, states is something interesting. Spawn loop is something about when a weapon's on the floor. You won't really need to worry about this. Ready. This is what happens when you pick up the weapon and open it for foot. Because when you open it, it will load this stuff up. So, in-game, this weapon will actually call an ACS script, well, a named script, that will change your weapon color to Mega Buster. So let's just go, for example, I'm sure you're familiar with, if you're not familiar with Mega Man weapons, then I would be asking why you're watching this video, because I would be curious about why you're watching this video if you don't know what the Mega Man series is, but you do you. But yeah, we're gonna change this to Flashbomb. There's a whole bunch of names in that, and there's a whole ACS script that's got all these. You can modify it even, if you can get your own version of it, but still. This calls a script that changes your weapon color. But note, translations, we'll talk about that on another time. Basically, this changes your player color. Weapon ready. This is a really good thing. This thing is really fucking good. Like, okay, let's just jump. So, weapon ready is actually something really important. So, the thing is, without it, you can't fire the weapon. Yes, without that weapon ready, this weapon would be absolutely useless. It would be pointless. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of shit and all. But yeah, if you hover over it, you might go and say, oh, what's in these brackets? Int flags? What does that mean? Okay, so all of these scripts, and yes, it's structured kind of like this. Okay. So, you may be wondering, what is this BUS? What is this bust letter with a 1? And what's the 1? The 0? What is this? Is this a timer of like 1 second? 1 millisecond? A frame? What is it? And then the thing A_weapon ready. Okay, I'll explain this one by one. Okay, explain this easily. Sure, you can pull up the zdoom.org/wiki. I guess you can pull that up to help you explain this. Pretty much, there's a good example here. So one, the state. A state is a single instruction that can contain a sprite and a sprite frame. The sprite's duration in ticks. Note, in 8-bit deathmatch, 1 second is 35 ticks. 35 will be a very important number later along the line. And optionally, a function, when one state ends, it moves to another state. State label, actually, yeah, you could probably read these. Just read these parts again. So the state is kind of just this. The state label is this. And the state sequence is... no. Let me explain this. So ready, this one gets called when you open the weapon. You can't avoid this one no matter what, unless you have a underscore jump in it, because a underscore jump in it. But we'll go and talk about it later. So you got the buster frame, because bust frame, B. This is only one frame, and it's got 0 ticks on it. So what does that mean? It's instantaneous. Yes. So that means this script gets called instantly, and it gets called once. And to anyone, actually this may be a little bit off, but if anyone's gonna ask about the, oh, I've seen certain scripts that have been like, actually let me give you a good example here. I've seen scripts that have been like this, but then also there's versions that are like this. Because yes, one of 3 letters with one tick. Yes, it technically takes 3 ticks to go through and have 3 different frames, but this has 3 ticks on 1 frame. But then there's also people who do this, who do a hybrid between the two, that do this. And there is a purpose to all 3 of these. The first one is like easier animation thing, but it's like really fast animation. This is the same frame called 3 times, and this is 1 frame in 3 ticks. Okay, so there's a difference between 3 C's at 1 tick and 1 C at 3 ticks. If you want something to be called once, you do this. If you want something to be called 3 times, you do this. But if you want like an animation to play with it, you do this. Note, the first 4 letters are the actual first, like, the sprite names are kind of oriented in a weird way. Pretty much would have to go to the sprites and that. Alright, let's grab a good old bomb man for example. Okay, $ bomb. Oh. So, names are usually arranged like this. There's 6 characters. There's 4 letters, A, and then a number. What does that mean? Yeah. So the first 4 letters are the identifier. The 5th letter is the frame, and the 6th one, that number, is direction. And if you want to make a meme of Mega Man and holding a gun looking at us, that would be frame 1, aka what Bombman is doing right now. But yeah, first 4 frame, you have the first 4 letters, that's the identifier, and then the next letter after that is the frame. The sprites are only identified by the first 4 letters, and space is the letter afterward, is its frames. Because frames that are responded to text. And yes, if you technically wanted to activate 3 times in an instant, you can technically do this. In which is, I am not stopping you from doing that, but I personally don't really use it. But anyway, back to weapon. Spuster, frame B, for an instant it gets this. It takes 1 tick to activate the weapon ready. This, so go to ready a +1. Yes, it goes back to the ready state, but what's the +1? What is the +1? What do you mean? There's a +1 state for the ready? No, this +1 says screw this script. I'm not. So this ready one just says screw this one on and just skips over it, and that's how it is. So the +1 at the end of ready basically means it will skip 1 frame. So this instant thing won't be called. It will just go back to Buster B1 weapon ready. So you might go and think, oh, why do we need like 1 tick on it? Because we don't want the game to crash. A great way to make the game crash is make it do a couple 100,000 commands in an instant. This slows it down to making it that it does the A_weapon ready 35 times a second. So this is But then it's like, oh, there's like no comment on it. Oh, so what does the weapon really do? If you press the fire button in 8-bit deathmatch, it will skip to the fire state. If you press right click with your alt fire, it'll go to alt fire. And there's a bunch of states. There's a bunch of other states like reload, zoom, and all that. 8-bit deathmatches don't use zoom. They use reload if you're gondola person or other mods, and user 1 if you're another group of people in that. But really, I like to see is the firing buttons be like fire, alt, fire, reload, and zoom. It's just much easier than going like fire, alt, fire, user 1, user 2. It's just painful. But anyway, continuing on. So, these three here, these three here get called in an instant. So, first of all, the A_jump if no ammo. It will check if you have no ammo. So if you don't have any buster ammo, it will jump to a state. What state? It will jump to the no ammo that's in quotation marks. We'll jump to the no ammo, have the 1 frame, go to the right, and get back here again. Okay, what happens if you have ammo? It'll go past this because you have 1 ammo, and it'll play a sound. And yes. So all this stuff here is literally the name of it, and then this is just channel it plays in. Pretty much just think of A and play it. The sound is just the sound that plays. A_fire custom missile. Now this is one of few ways to fire a projectile. Oh, because the first part, this is the name of the projectile. We're gonna call this tester shot. Actually, no. Testing shot. So yeah, we're just gonna do this. So, angle. It's seen as a number. Yes, you could put it as like 1, 2, 99, 132 pound, pretty much stuff. But you can also, if you want to make your weapon like a shotgun, you do it like this. Yes, you put a random in there. We will talk about making shotguns in another video. The use ammo, this one I personally don't really use because I use different things in that, but still, press 1 if you want to use 1 ammo, because if you want the thing to consume 1 ammo, 2 ammo, 3 ammo, or as much ammo as you possibly want the weapon to have. 0 ammo means it takes nothing and fires the shot for free. Spawn horizontal. This is the horizontal from the player. This is the height that this one's at. But yeah, this will summon a projectile that's in front of you that is affected by where you're aiming in at. 2 frames, called for 3 ticks each. 1 frame for 2 ticks. And then an A_refire that if you are holding down the fire button, or alt fire button, when this script comes along, guess what it does? It brings you back to the fire state, aka the thing of the refire. If you're not holding the fire thing, it brings you back to the race state, and pretty much it's easy like that. It's like, oh, what does what does flash and no flash? Well, flash is kind of like the skip state thing, and no flash is. I don't use these, but yeah, ammo. This is a good one. It's a much smaller actor. It's got the name thing and it's type of ammo. This one's pretty good. It's inventory.mount. This is how much you get. At first, we usually just always set to 1. Inventory.max amount. This is the max amount you can hold. Have it be like 1 E tank, like 55 monkeys in a barn. Pretty much whatever number you want, even if it's 69. Backpack amount and backpack max amount. Pretty much it's just some extra stuff. I don't use this. But yeah, let's go into this. Tester shot. Tester shot, it has a thing of basic projectile, and what does that do? Basic projectile, pretty much it's spawn actor thing, pretty much it's got a whole bunch of shit. Pretty much just a thing, it's got projectile. It's pretty much got a whole bunch of shit. Really, to understand this one, it's got shit. But really, all you really know is projectile. This is really important for all kind of basic projectile things. Damage type, this is the damage it does when it hurts someone. It can be seen here. The obituary, this is also the same one as we saw before, but you can change it to be whatever you want. This one will show up if someone dies to this thing. Plus bright, what is this thing? Well, no matter how bright or dark a room is, this thing will be very bright. It'll glow. Speed is the speed that the projectile moves from a underscore fire custom missile. The damage, remember it needs to be in brackets. It does 10 damage per shot. The radius is 10, the height is 5. Radius is how wide this bitch is, and the height is how tall this bitch is. Basically, it's a cylinder. You can make it wider, or you make it taller. It's one or the other. But yeah, pretty much a lot of stuff that is done here in the weapon is also applied to here. But this is just the thing of what it goes through and all that stuff. Pretty much it's like the weight. So what does weight do? Pretty much it just keeps repeating this. For something like the Mega Buster, it's really good because it's like the normal Mega Buster shot. But let's just replace the frame for something else so it makes it easier. So let's go and grab our friend Bomb Man. Note, you can put it like that, or you can do it like this. You must do it like this. You must put it in quotation marks for things that have got like signs like $, / or square brackets. Frames can go from, I should have mentioned the frame thing earlier, but frames can go all the way from A to Z, and this, and this. But usually you would only go all the way from A to Z, and that's it. Alright, so this will loop this frame. If we do loop instead, it will restart the state. Pretty much is good for things that, because it's good for projectiles that kind of have different animations, and depending on what kind of conditions or how long they've been out for, it can do stuff. Pretty much we can talk, actually I can talk about it. Still, this is the basic weapon. So the blue stuff is states, this white stuff is the frame, because it's the sprite code, the frame, and the amount of ticks. Remember, 35, that's an important number, because that is how long that's how many in-game ticks it takes to do a full second. These yellow ones are the actual scripts, they get called. We'll talk about ACS another time, because that was a complex bag. And this stuff in orange, and note, you can change the colors of these in the settings, but I would recommend not changing them. Anyway, I'm sure some people would have like a white light screen of it instead of the black one I have. You can go into the settings to change that if you want. But yeah, pretty much we've got all these. So, okay, cool, we've got our own weapon, but we don't have it playable in the game yet. Well, here's what we do. Just grab this, exclude, actors / Banuka. And now we have something. And if you want to be really fancy with your thing, we can go and commit a little bit of a funny. Alright, this may seem very complex, but an A_spawn_item_EX is something that I'll talk about later. Training mode to go and test our new weapon. Oh yeah, this is a skin that I use. It's one of my self-made skins. There's a lot that I have. This is just, you know, like deathmatch stuff. Yeah, these are old, outdated skins, so this is not mine. This is a part of someone else's skin pack. There's a bunch of these that are not mine, but we're just gonna go with this one. Alright. So, this is what the normal Mega Buster is like. Alright, so if we were to give ourselves the actual weapon that I made, I call it Dummy Wep. You must give yourself what the actor is called, not the file, the actor. Give yourself this, and I have flash bomb colors. This is an ACS script that you can use for certain things. But yeah, because if you're wondering why 8-bit deathmatch skin makers make their skins with this blue and bright cyan color, these NES colors, it's so then translations work. But yeah, now we're testing a new weapon called Banuka Gun. As we now have an actor that summons a bomb man that flies around and just drops water balloons everywhere. Weapon, and next time I'm going to be talking about how to make more complex weapons and be able to check through more complex weapons. That could be things like AoEs, isn't that? But yeah, until next time.
Who else is the honored one? Imaginary technique.